Good afternoon, collectors. Can you believe it's February already? I did a little research this morning because February is one of those months that's kind of memorable. Did you know that February is one of the most often misspelled words in the English language? In fact, the little article I read said it's even been misspelled in White House communiques. So I feel if we do it, it's okay. The name comes from a Latin word, februm, which means purification. February was named after a purification ritual that was like an early Roman spring cleaning festival, which is probably why we so often associate spring with spring cleaning. So if you get a little mad at spring cleaning, you can just blame the old Romans for that. February is also Black History Month, and we've been celebrating that for over 40 years. The odds of being born on February 29th is about 1 in almost 1,500 people. Those born on a leap day can be called a leaper or a leapling, which I think is kind of silly. But this year we do have February 29th is an added day, and if you know anybody who was born on February 29th, they will stay young forever because they only really celebrate a birthday once every 4 years. There's some fairly well-known people who have birthdays in February. The obvious: Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Ronald Reagan, and George Harrison, of course. But did you know that February also celebrates the birthdays of people like Charles Darwin, Charles Dickens, coming up next week, James Dean, Frederick Douglass, Aaron Burr, Hank Aaron, Ed Sheeran, Michael Jordan, and your Miss Lit Towns. So I just thought that was kind of a fun thing to find out a little bit about a short month, but we've got lots of birthdays to celebrate this month. And I'm delighted to have our head sculptor and accessories designer, Kiri Napstead, with us as my special guest. Kiri's going to share some stories about some of the newest accessories for 2024 from several of our villages. We've got lots to talk about, Kiri. So let's get started. And we're going to start with the one that's right here, and we will try to do a turn of each of these. And Kiri, if you've got things you want to point out, go right ahead.
Yeah, so this is the introduction of our Dickens Village Father Christmas figure, which is based on the historical idea of Father Christmas rather than Santa Claus. So he would usually appear with carrying a little tree and a basket or a bag of presents, and often would wear green rather than...
Yeah, I was wondering about that when I looked at him real closely today.
Right.
And why green?
I think it was just a seasonal color and really not attached to the idea of Santa Claus.
Okay. So Santa Claus is where we get the red from.
Right. Although some versions of Father Christmas do wear red, like there are some images of Father Christmas.
Usually more the cranberry.
But more often, I mean, I would say he seems to be depicted in green more than any other color.
And he's got kind of a special...
Yeah, and we did a special, like a flocked coat on our Father Christmas, so it's like kind of soft.
Almost like wool.
Yeah, kind of like wool. And we also have a little special charm with the year that's on his staff that says 2024.
The one thing, if we could get a close-up of this, I wanted to point this out. This really blew my mind when I saw this, when I was really looking at it. Can you get in there on that, Rebecca? Okay. If you notice on the bottom of this particular accessory, now this is just a tiny little accessory. It's probably about 3.5 inches tall, and there are 4 bottom stamps. One is, of course, the Department 56 bottom stamp. There is the 40th anniversary bottom stamp for Dickens Village. There is a limited edition bottom stamp because this piece will only be available in 2024, as all of our dated accessory pieces are. And then the 4th one there is, you can see the little key And that means that this piece will only be distributed to our platinum retailers. So for this year only, during the premiere year of this series, that is the only place you're going to be able to buy it. And if you're looking for a platinum retailer, go to our website, which of course is department56.com, and on the title page you can locate a retailer, and all of those retailers that are listed there are platinum retailers. And I would say the vast majority of them have 800 numbers, they have websites, and they will ship. So it shouldn't be a problem for you to find one of these special pieces. And Kiri, you did just a wonderful job on this piece. The detail is just outstanding.
It turned out great.
Yeah, it really did. And again, this is for Dickens Village, but I think it would also go very well in Christmas in the City.
Oh, totally.
Okay, which one are we going to look at next?
As long as we're talking Dickens Village, we might as well talk about the monument to the Queen. And of course, this was inspired by the death, the passing of the Queen.
Yep, that was Elizabeth II. This,
right.
however, is not Elizabeth II.
But we still have just the idea that a statue commemorating the Queen could belong in any Dickens village.
And what it says on the front here, is that what it says on this particular statue of her?
Well, it's not based on one specific statue
Okay.
of her.
So we can't go to London and see
Right,
this exact.
we can't.
Okay, so it says on here, this statue was raised by the people to commemorate our beloved Queen, and that, of course, is Victoria.
But I have to say, I think the details turned out really great on this piece too. Like the staff and the orb and the crown, and I drew it really well, but then they sculpted it really well too, which...
And they sculpt these over in the Far East.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, beautiful for in the middle of a square in Dickens Village. And again, I think you could use it in Christmas in the City if you wanted to.
You definitely could.
Beautiful piece. And the coloring does make it look like it is.
Like it's a weathered bronze statue.
We have a dog.
We have a dog visitor today.
She saw somebody walk past, so just like at home when the mailman comes, right? Okay, Kiri, let's take a look at another one.
Yeah, let's talk about we have an introduction of Dickens Village Friends and Family this year.
You wanted to talk a little bit about just doing these friends and neighbors, is that what
Yeah, Friends and Neighbors. And it was something that we had heard that collectors would really like more figures of people, just kind of an assortment of people doing different things, not necessarily associated with the building. So this year we came out with these sets, and every grouping.
Every village has.
Every village has a grouping of friends and neighbors.
I love this one.
So yeah, the Dickens one. I thought it would be fun to have a boy running and jumping in the snow, just because it would be really different from just a standing figure, and kids do that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, and a little motion going past, he does look like he's moving, doesn't
he? Right. And then we've got people in the middle of other activities, like the sweeping woman and the guy with his goose on his way home to.
And this is a way to add something new to a village if you're not buying all of the lighted pieces.
Right.
So great accessories.
And as we go forward, we'll just have different types of people doing different things. Each year will be a new...
And this year it just so happens that they're all sets of 3?
Yeah, I think we're going to continue the set of 3.
Okay, yeah, an odd number. And when I was looking for these this morning, they were interspersed in our display, and they weren't all together. So, this one was outside of a shop, and he was near more of a rural setting, so they were in various places. So they're not necessary it's not necessary to use them all together, but use them where you see fit and where you can tell the story of it. Yeah, great pieces. Okay.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about some more. Let's do the Snow Village
Okay.
set of 3.
I really liked the one with the umbrella. I thought she was darling.
Yeah, that turned out really good too. Like the umbrella really works. And of course she's carrying a poinsettia, so she's festive.
Yeah.
She's on her way somewhere. And
A little
the
different coloring too.
guy is also festive because he's been doing some Christmas shopping.
What does it say on his
And
bag here?
yes, this is kind of the extra special fact about this one
Oh.
is he's carrying a bag that is for Santa's Confectionery, which is a store in the Christmas in the City village. So it's a little treat there for people who are paying attention that the Santa's Confectionery has perhaps been around for so long that it's still around in the time of Snow Village,
Yeah.
and people are still shopping there.
And a young boy rolling a big snowball. He's on his way to make a snowman.
Yep.
And all have a bottom stand. These are the ones for Snow Village are all ceramic and glazed, and the others are all
Porcelain.
they're all resin, aren't they?
Well, the Dickens ones are porcelain,
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
The Dickens ones are porcelain.
and the
Okay.
Christmas in the City ones are porcelain.
Okay.
But then the Halloween ones are resin.
Hard to keep them all straight. Do you now, when you do that, talking about the different materials that are used, does that make a difference when you do your design?
Not too much, although, like, resin is a little less breakable than ceramic, so you could have, like, skinnier attachments, or you
Oh.
could have a skinnier part that sticks out to the side, and you don't have to worry as much about it breaking off.
Like, for example,
For example,
with
yeah.
this piece, this witch. I mean, that's a pretty thin little piece.
Right. You would never want to put a skinny broom like that on a ceramic figure.
Yeah, you couldn't get it to look right to be that thin. Okay. Well, let's bring the rest
Yes,
of these
yes.
out. And you've got a little bit of a story about these, which I think is great.
So these are the Halloween, instead of friends and neighbors, they're ghouls and goblins.
Love it.
And they are each kind of special because she has a little actual jewel on the front of her gown,
Love the purple.
and he has an actual chain around his waist. And he is actually the first male witch we've had in Snow Village Halloween.
And a male witch is called
A warlock.
a warlock. Okay. So we have witches and warlocks now.
We do.
And then we have a young one.
He's just learning how to fly
Oh,
his
this is a
broom.
guy. This is a male too,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. So I guess
Oh.
technically we have 2 warlocks.
Okay. So kind of a warlock in training. And I like the bases that are more fall looking than winter. And these can go anywhere. And again, when I was looking for them, they were in 3 different places in the Halloween display. So let's give these a little bit of a twirl so you can see what they look like in the back. And what is this on the bottom of his robe?
Those are just little, like, his magical sigils that are on his robe.
I love the fact that it has this real chain on it. That looks really cool.
Yeah, these turned out great.
And you have to, once you've sent your designs over to the factories, they sculpt them and do an initial cast and paint,
Mm-hmm.
and then they send them back to you for approval.
Right, and then we usually end up repainting them. Or I should say, I usually end up repainting them. And at that point, they might undergo a significant repaint if we just decide, let's totally change the color.
Like, say you didn't like the color of the cape, you could
Right.
totally change it, and at that point, it's not a big deal.
Right, right.
And you show these at your art review,
Mm-hmm.
so that all the other artists can have their say.
Like, yeah, at that point, if anyone thinks, oh, we could really go in a different direction, that's when it should happen.
Any questions coming through that Carrie can answer?
I mean, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it always going to be two adults and one kid?
I did it that
That's a
way
good
because,
question.
like, in all of the groupings, I kind of thought that made sense so that you were getting a mix of a woman, a man, and a child. And it does seem to kind of make sense to keep doing that, although, like, eventually we might change that up a little bit. Like, especially if people are really requesting more of something in particular.
Like more kids or
Right.
more adults?
Yeah,
or-
we could always,
Yeah.
or maybe at some point we'll have like two that it might make sense for them to be grouped together.
Like interacting with
Like
each
if
other?
it was two kids doing something specific, like playing a game.
Just to keep everyone on their toes, right?
Right.
Okay, let's move on to, you want to show us the Christmas in the City ones that you've done?
Yeah, we might as well have these guys, the Christmas in the City grouping. So we've got a guy.
And again, when you're looking for these with in the brochures and at your retailers, we are calling them friends and neighbors. So there is a set in Dickens Village, Snow Village, Christmas in the City, Halloween, and
North Pole.
We didn't show the North Pole because Carrie didn't do those this time. We'll show those when we have that artist on. Okay, and this is the Christmas in the City set.
Right. So we've got a guy with his hat blowing off in the wind. And we've got a woman who's been shopping. And we've got a little newsboy hawking the newspaper. So kind of typical big city things going on here.
On a city sidewalk
Right.
piece. That's nice. And the attire is what era?
It's like 1920s-ish New York, kind of, or it doesn't have to be New York. It can be other big cities too.
I love the fact that his hat is blown off.
Yeah, that was a thought I had that why not? We could totally do that.
Yeah.
Bring a little extra life to the display.
Yeah. And the detail on there, is that all hand done? That's not a decal, is it?
On
On their faces.
Oh yeah, that is totally hand painted.
Now the extra,
Although,
this
yeah,
would
I
be,
did make a little decal for the newspaper.
Yeah, because that would be impossible.
Right.
Yeah, but look at their faces. I mean, he's got a mustache, so we now have facial hair on some of our accessories. And these two could be walking together,
They definitely could be.
but not necessarily.
They could be
She
also.
could
They
be
could
coming
be
out of
spread
a
out
shop, or
in different
he
places.
could be on the corner, and yeah, very, very good. But look at the detail on these faces. Wow.
Well, on the subject of facial hair,
All right, let's go on to that one. What a good segue.
this is the figure that goes with our Thanksgiving piece this year.
And it is called Touchdowns, Turkey, and Pie.
So we have all those three things represented here where they're arriving for Thanksgiving dinner. Dad has his football with him,
That's touchdown.
and Mom has the pie, and the kid has a little drawing of a turkey that he did by tracing his hand and then drawing a turkey.
And we all have one of those.
Classic. And on the subject of the facial hair, the dad has like a a 4 or 5 o'clock shadow beard kind of going on here. Where his facial hair, it's kind of like it's a light growth of beard instead of the heavy.
Nice looking. And again, it is on a fall base
Correct.
with leaves as opposed to being on a snow base. And this goes with our new Thanksgiving piece that is called...
Oh, I totally should know.
no, I don't mean to put you on the spot, Carrie. It is a really cute Thanksgiving, just
It
a cute
is.
little ranch
Extremely
house.
cute.
And you can see in the window, and there's a Thanksgiving dinner on the table, and that's the piece that it goes with. Just really a cute set. Something that is been asked for by collectors, not necessary, something to bridge between Halloween and Christmas, and really great for the center of a table. And this accessory really, really says it all. Touchstone, turkey, and pie. And I
Classic.
think very classic, absolutely very classic. And this probably is a little add-on piece that almost feels
Oh, right. Yeah, it's a little.
that they had to add in there
Yeah.
on a decal, the little turkey. I mean, if you really get in there and look at it, you can see just how special this accessory is. Really cute. Very well done. And you can see they're walking, and you can see by by the position of their legs that they're walking to Grandma's house for Thanksgiving. And I do let the kids bring the pie for Thanksgiving.
Totally telling the story.
It sure is. And you really have done a nice job since you've been doing these accessories, Carrie, of telling the story. And just really, really admire the talent that it takes to put this all together. Hello there, doggy. You looking at me putting this on the floor? Okay.
So this year we also have a threesome to go with our Disney Haunted Mansion
Could go with either
story
of the haunted either of
that
the
we are
haunted
now.
mansions.
Yeah, because we have 2 haunted mansions now. These are visitors to the park. So we've got
a little more current timeline.
right, definitely a current timeline, and we've got like everyone's got their Mickey Mouse garb. We've all got Mickey Mouse T-shirts on, and Mom has got her phone out because she's taking a picture of their kid who's waving at Mickey Mouse, and she's even got his cotton candy that's in the shape of a Mickey Mouse head with the ears.
I don't know
And-
that I've ever seen that. at
Oh,
Disney.
and that is also flocked.
Okay.
So
I
got
didn't
the
notice
special
that until
treatment.
just now. Yeah. And then there is
and then
the old,
teen girl is doing a selfie.
which is so typical of the teen girl.
Super typical.
Yeah. So let's give these a little twirl around. And Dad has facial hair. You
Right,
needed facial hair
right.
this year, Carrie. And again, on a fall base as opposed to being on snow. So it fits right in with Halloween.
And the details on these turned out really great.
Yeah, the facial features are wonderful, and look at even her Minnie Mouse ears has the polka dots on it. Her hair isn't quite as long as my granddaughter's, but really, really cute. Very well done. Very well done. They're having a good day at one of the Disney theme parks. Okay, we got just 2 more that we want to share with you. Carrie has been a busy girl as far as her design work this year. I think you've done more design work or more sculpting this year.
It's definitely been much more design.
And is that
That's
nice?
and that is nice because I love sculpting and I did a lot of it, but it's fun to be doing something new and learning new things every day and just doing different kinds of work here.
Yeah, it's
great.
almost like you've got
It's
a new
great.
job, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, and that's kind of fun. It keeps coming to work fun.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is called.
This is Dead Astaire. He's the Bones series.
Was that your idea when it first came out? The
The
Bones
series?
Yeah.
No. It's been going on for a while.
Yeah, but every time I see a new one, I think, oh my gosh, how did they come up with that idea? Of course, based on Fred Astaire dancing,
Right.
And he's got his tuxedo on. And look at the detail here. I mean, the thinness of that is.
Yeah, they did a great job with
Walk
the sculpt on this one too.
You can almost see him doing it.
Really captured the pose.
Yeah, for sure. Love it. So if you're into dancing or
Yeah.
into Fred Astaire or
Or
Dead
just
Astaire,
into skeletons.
yeah, yeah, very nice. And this can't be a decal or anything on his face.
No,
It's got to
it's
be.
just all hand painted.
And look at, I mean, how, and you couldn't get this with porcelain. And, I mean, to get that detail on that face, it has to be resin.
It definitely helps.
Yeah, wow.
And with his arms out like that, that's much easier to do in resin
So
because
this
it's
is
much less
basically
likely to break off.
one rubber mold that they use.
Yes, and then I think this is added afterwards, the cane.
Yeah. But it would take many other molds to do it
Oh,
out
right.
of porcelain.
It
right?
would.
So he's great. Dancing the night away, Dead Astaire. And then the last one we have.
This is the 2024 Lucky the Snowman for this year. And I had this idea that, well, what if he was juggling snowballs?
And he's pretty good.
just
He's keeping them all in the air.
It's each year it's kind of a challenge to think of what else could Lucky be doing.
Look at that scarf. Wow. That's a lot of detail.
Very super festive scarf
Yes.
with a lot of detailed painting.
Yeah.
It's all hand painted.
Lucky the Snowman. And again, on the bottom, as we are doing with all of our limited edition pieces now, a special bottom stamp, and then, of course, Village Accessories, Department 56, so that you always know you are getting the real thing when you go to your retail store. That is just great. Kiri, it was so good to have you with us. Our next Facebook Live will be March 7th, when my special guest will be Terry Prince. Now, that might not be a name you recognize. Terry's an integral part of the Department 56 team. She touches every replacement part that's sent out and will give us some insight into that world and will share with us a new village piece that she inspired. Join us March 7th. See you then.